Ever open a history book and feel like you're only getting half the story? The dates, the kings, the big battles. They're all there. But what about the secrets? The strange, surprising, and downright bizarre details that got left out. Today, we're flipping the script. We're going on a treasure hunt through time to uncover the civilization's secrets your history books never told you. Get ready, because the past is about to get a whole lot weirder. Let's start in ancient Rome. We all know about the Colosseum, the gladiators, and the powerful emperors. But did you know that Romans used a truly shocking ingredient in their toothpaste and laundry detergent? It was urine. Yes, you heard that right. The ammonia in urine was a fantastic cleaning agent. In fact, it was so valuable that the government placed a tax on it. There were public collection pots on street corners where people could contribute. Imagine explaining that to a time traveler. So next time you see a gleaming white toga in a movie, remember the secret ingredient that made it sparkle. Now, let's journey to the land of the pharaohs, ancient Egypt. We picture them building magnificent pyramids and worshipping cat gods. But what about their social lives? Well, the Egyptians were surprisingly progressive when it came to women's rights. Unlike in many other ancient societies, Egyptian women could own property, run businesses, and even initiate divorce. They had a level of independence that would be seen again in many parts of the world for thousands of years. But it was the everyday Egyptian women who were the true trailblazers, managing households and controlling their own economic destinies. Think the Vikings were just burly raiders with horned helmets. Think again. First off, the horned helmets. A complete myth, likely invented by a 19th century costume designer for an opera. The real Vikings were much more than just warriors. They were meticulous groomers. Archaeologists have found an abundance of tweezers, razors, combs, and even ear spoons at Viking sites. They valued cleanliness and looking good. In fact, one English chronicler from the 13th century complained that the Vikings were far too popular with English women because they combed their hair daily, bathed every Saturday, and changed their clothes regularly. So, they weren't just raiders. They were stylish, well-groomed explorers and traders. Let's jump to the Renaissance, a time of artistic genius and scientific discovery. We think of Leonardo da Vinci painting the Mona Lisa or Michelangelo sculpting David. But what was life like for the average person? For one thing, it was loud and smelly. With no modern sanitation, people just threw their garbage and waste out into the streets and forks. They were seen as scandalously unmanly and even sacrilegious for a long time. People believed that God gave us fingers to eat with, and using an artificial hand like a fork was an insult to the divine. It took centuries for the fork to become a standard utensil on the European dinner table. Imagine trying to eat spaghetti with just a spoon and your fingers. Here's a secret about the New World. when Columbus and other European explorers arrived in the Americas. They didn't discover an empty wilderness. They stumbled into a world bustling with millions of people, complex societies, and sprawling cities. The Aztec capital, Tenochtitlan, where Mexico City now stands, was one of the largest and most sophisticated cities in the world at the time. It had intricate canal systems, massive pyramids, and a population larger than any European city, including London or Paris. The idea of an untamed frontier was a convenient story that ignored the vibrant civilizations that had thrived there for millennia. Have you ever heard of the Great Emu War? It sounds like a joke, but it actually happened in Australia in 1932, after World War I. Thousands of veteran soldiers were given land to farm, but their crops were being destroyed by an estimated 20,000 emus. The farmers, many of them ex-soldiers, begged for military assistance. So, the government deployed the Royal Australian Artillery, armed with 2 Lewis machine guns and 10,000 rounds of ammunition. The soldiers went to war against the emus. The result? A crushing defeat, for the army. The emus proved to be brilliant tacticians. They were fast, tough, and would split into small groups, making them impossible targets. After a month, the military withdrew in disgrace. The emus had officially won the war. This bizarre chapter of history is a hilarious reminder that sometimes nature is just plain tougher than we are. Let's talk about something we use every day: paper money. It seems so normal, but it was once a revolutionary and controversial idea. For most of history, value was tied to physical things like gold, silver, or salt. The idea of a piece of paper having value was absurd to many. It was the Tang dynasty in 7th century China that first introduced paper money as a sort of IOU for merchants. Marco Polo was stunned when he saw it in the 13th century, calling it a form of alchemy where the emperor could seemingly create treasure from nothing. When Europe tried to adopt it centuries later, it led to massive economic bubbles and crashes because people didn't trust it. It took a long time for the world to accept that the value of money is really just a shared belief. And finally, let's consider the pirates of the Golden Age. We imagine them as lawless rogues, but in many ways, pirate ships were some of the most democratic places on Earth. Before a voyage, the crew would draw up articles, a code of conduct that everyone, including the captain, had to sign. The captain was elected and could be voted out if the crew wasn't happy with his performance. The loot was divided in a surprisingly fair manner, with extra shares for those who were injured in battle. A pirate who lost an eye or leg would receive a form of workers' compensation from the shared treasure. In a world of tyrannical kings and brutal navy captains, a pirate ship offered a rare chance at freedom, equality, and a voice in your own destiny. History isn't just a collection of dusty facts. It's a living, breathing story, full of incredible surprises. From urine-based toothpaste to a victorious emu army, the past is packed with secrets that challenge everything we thought we knew. It shows us that people throughout time have been just as strange, innovative, and complicated as we are today. The stories we don't hear are often the ones that tell us the most. What's the most surprising history fact you've ever learned? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this journey into the hidden corners of the past, don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more civilization secrets. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.